Yeah. Yeah. I know they mad for no reason. I'm holding on to change my life. Gotta move fast for a reason. I'm holding on to change my life. Huddling, I'm staring at charts until I retire. Yeah. Huddling, I'm staring at charts until I retire. Oh, 700K, I'm selling a Bitcoin. Haters mad, but they listen to this one. More profit coming to my direction. Yeah, you know me, I don't need a mention. I got the remedy, ooh, yeah. They don't just follow me, ooh, yeah. You say allegedly, ooh, yeah. You would subscribe to me, ooh, yeah. Staring at chart, drawing a line. Make a decision, you out of time. Huddling, I'm staring at charts until I retire. Yeah. Huddling, I'm staring at charts until I retire. Yeah. See on stage. OnChain Revolution. Guns. Phone.
Welcome back to OnChain Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire crypto ecosystem. What's up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We're live from the OnChain Hour, and I forgot the mute button. I was like the first time all year that I forgot the mute button there, but we got a great show for you guys today. Thinking about changing the name of the show to Silver Revolution because silver is going nuts right now. 75 hours for silver. I saw someone on the timeline about 20 minutes ago was basically saying I saw silver at $19. Like, what the hell is going on? Like, what is going on? Like, this is absolutely insane right now. You know, we do have crypto, the only thing not at all-time high. You have the S&P all-time high, Dow Jones all-time high, NASDAQ all-time high, gold, silver, platinum, like any type of metal is at an all-time high. Absolutely crazy right now. But you know, I started looking into it. The last time we saw all the metals at an all-time high all together all at once was 3 different times, and every single time led to a recession. Are we about to go into a recession right now? Yeah, the R word. It's getting a little scary out there because you know you do have guys like Ray Dalio saying, "Hey, we're in a bubble. We're in a bubble right now." But the only thing not in a bubble is crypto. So if everything else like bubble pops, does crypto finally go up? I don't know. I'm seriously in the boat right now of just send Bitcoin to 70K, send it to 65K. Honestly, you know, at least what that does is that at least opens up opportunity, right? And with opportunity comes a lot more fun in the markets and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll have to deal with a lot of downturning, crying more on the timeline, but everyone's kind of gone anyway. So it's just like just send it at this point, send it to 70K. Yeah, that's kind of what it is. We do have more stuff happening in the market. Trust Wallet put out a, you know, some type of update on Christmas Day. And then you saw it potentially $7 million. People lost funds from their hot wallets. Crazy. CZ did come out and say they will reimburse everyone who lost. So they are taking, you know, taking the you know the losses there for everyone else. So that's pretty cool to see. We have USD1 pair on Binance actually dropped Bitcoin to about $21,000. Yeah, heavy manipulation going on right there. We're going to talk about that. But Binance and these candles, man, this has to stop. I don't care if it's for, you know, a pair like USD1 or whatever. It just has to stop. It really does. We're going to have the great guys from Emblem Vault on the show at 12 o'clock today. Jake and Adam, definitely, maybe Chris as well. But this will be the final show of the year with the guys from Emblem Vault. So excited to kind of talk to them and kind of see their perspective on what happens next year. We'll get into all that stuff. So we have a great show for you guys. So without further ado, let's get the show started. Bringing my partner here as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's up? What's up? What's up?
What's going on, man? How you doing today?
Good. I was trying to sneak in the link to send over to Jake. I'm not sure if you got it over to him, but I could do that here in a little bit. But yeah, everything is enjoying Christmas except for our sector, for the most part, right? I mean, you do have some projects that are grinding still, and they're in a decent spot, right? They've put themselves in those in those good spots, or at least like a spot to survive and continually push forward. But for the most part, it's kind of just like that neglected, like stepchild, foster child, or whatever, right? That's just being kind of like overlooked while the precious metals thrive, the stock market thrives, everything else thrives. But we will have our day one day, someday.
I hope so. Let's take a look at that. Like it's awesome to kind of see it in full view here, right? You have gold all-time high, silver all-time high, S&P 500 all-time high, and then Bitcoin, um, not doing anything at all. It's just sad. And then you kind of look at this one, right? Is it this one? Look at this. So this is crypto prices since Trump took office. Bitcoin down 18%, ETH down 10%, XRP 42%, Sol 52, Doge 68, ADA 65, Link 47, AVAX 68, Sui 71, Ton 72, Pepe 78, and the Trump coin 82%. So this is since Trump has taken office. On January 20th, we are down double digits on pretty much everything, and 70-80% on some of your favorite altcoins here.
Is it fitting that the Trump coin is the highest pullback coin on there? It kind of started the whole introduction to what the presence is going to be like and all that stuff. But yeah, this is sort of opposite of what we expected for a Q4 of 2025 for the first year of this administration. I'm not too prideful to say that I expected it to be great, at least like pretty good, right? But sometimes things that the masses think that are going to happen, the opposite happens. I don't think this was necessarily that type of situation. I think there was multiple factors that went in. I mean, this is a little bit of, I don't want to say misleading, because I don't think that was the intention of that data there, but you have to remember Bitcoin did hit 126. Ethereum did cross over 5,000. So there was a little bit of light during the summer, but other than that, not very, very enjoyable year.
I mean, they crashed it in February and March. They brought it back up in June, July. They crashed it again in October. I mean, they're just
punching
manipulating us, dude. They're manipulating us, right? They're just kind of accumulating here, taking ups, taking profit, bringing it back down. I think the worst thing to happen, honestly, was they made crypto no longer a bipartisan thing. And now it's a right-leaning asset class. And I think that was the worst thing that ever happened to crypto, because of the adoption of the Trump administration. I really do. I think, now Democrats and potentially you might see a lot of people on the left just not want to hold crypto, right? They could have dumped their Bitcoin for gold and stuff like that. I think the worst possibly that happened this year was them making crypto no longer a bipartisan asset class, but a right asset. I mean, this is terrible.
Yeah, but I mean, I think the left is paying a lot of attention and trying to get into good graces with some of the larger players. They saw what happened in the election, so it's not like Democrats are 100% against it. There are some that are still probably I see that's the sneaky part of what's happening right now that we don't get to really see in Washington and all these things. Like one of the things that came out was the during the government lockdown, it was, or shutdown, I think they tried to sneak something into the Senate, or like the Senate tried to sneak something into the big beautiful bill. So maybe it was before that. So something that to get it passed, right? And it had to do with crypto and stable coins or something. I can't remember exactly what the details were, but to me, that was kind of like, okay, that's something sneaky that like the Democrats probably try to get in against crypto or like to have more control over it. So I do agree that the left is more aligned to the banking system, the legacy system, all these things. But where I'm a little bit lost is the legacy system on board with the new digital asset system, the new, basically Web3 being this new financial system that's going to be a hybrid mix of kind of how we've done things and how we're about to do things. Because from the headlines, it seems like they are. You see fintech companies that are really involved, like PayPal. You're hearing about JP Morgan doing things on Ethereum in the future, these type of things. But then you see that situation with like the Senate and them trying to have all this control over the stable coins and all this stuff. So, yes, it's more right leaning. I think some left realize that it's the future, but then there's parts of the left that are still kind of fighting, because I think the banking system and financial system wants to make sure that they still maintain their position of control.
Yeah, 100%. And they love the blockchain technology, right? They love but they don't love the aspect of the cryptocurrencies, right? They don't like the Bitcoins, the Ethereums, the so on and so on. And I do think that we're going to see this year potentially a lot of manipulation to kind of push these assets so far down, and we've probably already seen it, to the point of crypto and blockchain are two different things. I know that's what JP Morgan wants, especially with their coin and stuff like that. So their stable coin being their gas token on the chain. I got a feeling, dude, this is just the beginning of the manipulation we're going to see. I have a feeling 2026 is going to be a rough year, at least the first 6 months for crypto.
Well, you have to remember, like, whenever there's entities that are losing power in any type of situation, whether it's like, leadership, go back to the, king's days, right? And all these things, like, they're going to make it as painful as possible with that transition of power. And I think that's the whole purpose of what's happening right now, is they're like, nah, we're not giving up power to these entities that are, coming into like the leaders of Web3, or these small groups that have been building over here for so long, or just even the KOL like situation. I think that's changing drastically right now. You're seeing huge KOLs not have the same motion that they had in the past. And you could say, oh, that's just the market situation. Yeah, you can attribute some of that to the markets being crappy, but also they don't want these KOLs to be like Wall Street bets, right? Whenever Wall Street bets happen, they tried everything in their power to shut that down. And they did like basically subdued it for a bit, right? They suppressed it, like the way that they were amplifying and rallying the troops of normies around and stuff, that got shut down quickly. So they probably see KOLs and crypto Twitter in a similar fashion as like Wall Street bets. So I think the KOL era also could be changing big time. I wouldn't be shocked if we start to see, more of a, I don't want to say sophisticated, but just more of a traditional approach to markets for the crypto markets eventually, about Web3, talking about stuff that's similar to TradFi and things like that. Will it work? I think that if they're doing it already, some of it's working already, but eventually what ends up happening in these kind of like passing of power, or they're just coming into innovation, is there's a little bit of both, right? And then like the old way is kind of like, pushed away, but the people that have the power and control and money, they integrate into like the new innovative way of doing things, with bringing some of the things that they've done in the past and had success in TradFi and stuff. So I don't know, we're going into this part of our industry that is changing a lot.
Yeah, 100%. And like, so I remember there used to be some TradFi KOLs, like almost like crypto guys. Zach Morris, remember him?
Yeah,
He
Saved by the
was
Bell.
well, no, there was
Yeah,
a
I
guy,
know.
Zach Morris, who was like, and he had a team called, they had a podcast called Pennies Going in Raw. I used to listen to it and stuff. They all got to the point, got sued, like lawsuits dropped on them, right?
Really?
Yeah. So all those guys, you know, they're all gone. It was it was, I forget his name. His name was like Hugh Hefner or something like that. It was just it was an
You just
alias,
named
right?
2 people that were like
Well,
Hollywood guys.
that's what their names or X names were, right?
Yeah.
His name was like something like that. So it was like Zach Morris and Hugh Hefner. They were out there, but they got knocked down. They got hit hard, and to the point where they don't even tweet no more. And potentially, I think that's coming for a lot of crypto KOLs, right? I think this is the same thing's going to kind of happen that way as well. So where if you're not a legitimate business, or you don't have the right placements involved, saying, "Hey, I'm not, an advisor and stuff like that," but you're going to get kicked in the head here. So I think regulation not only coming for potential crypto like stable coins and RWAs, but I think it might be coming for potential media outlets as well.
Yeah, but you have like the large outlets that I think they're legitimized in terms of corporations and stuff, right? Like
I'm talking about the
CoinDesk and
degens, the
yeah.
PFPs
So
of the
so
world.
I think you have to find like a really good sweet spot to where you're not crossing the line too much. I think Matt Kors is one of those people that's on YouTube, like for the stock side, and he talks a little bit about crypto too. So but yeah, I can see the one thing I think they want to probably get rid of is the Wall Street Bet style, right? Like the stuff that they feel like has no they pump meme coins that they feel like have no right to be in $100 million market cap. Those type of things that they just don't want that. And I know we've talked about that, but it's just like I feel like we're starting to see it happen. And the problem with Web3 natives right now, which it's like crypto Twitter makes you feel like there's way more than there is right now, because there's like, people are still, it's dead. I get that. But like people are still talking about meme coins and stuff like that. And they're like on Pump Fund and doing volumes, but it's not a bunch of people. It's like, a concentrated group of people that keep passing. It's like, whenever if you had a small group of people in the hobby of sports collectibles, and you're constantly selling to each other, it's like who's
Yeah.
winning, right? And that's how I feel like the space is right now over there. So we'll see how that transitions too. And I do agree, I think you got to be more professional, have like a legit business. ICM CCM could be huge for that kind of stuff, but you have to remember too that the young generation is the future too. So they're also going to have say in this. And we saw it with the .com bubble burst, but then eventually really smart, innovative people built some really smart projects, and they were younger and stuff the years following that.
Yeah. I guess my point though was, do you see the days of the PFP fake alias, Zach Morris's of the world, but going into crypto, those guys kind of going away? Because those are the guys who pump the meme coins because they can get away with it. They pump them because they're not, no one knows their face, no one knows their alias, right? Do you think the days of, the Leonidas PFP Schillers and the other, like the Solana guys who are just really, really bad at it, but who don't show their face, do you think it's time for, public doxing to potentially happen for these guys to continue being able to do what they do?
I do think a lot of that's going to happen. I think a lot of the Anon stuff will slowly, flush away.
I'm tired of it, to be honest. I hate it. Like, I'm about to unfollow every Anon on on X.
Yeah, but the crazy thing is it's so deep in the crypto culture, and it really starts with Satoshi, right? Like if you think about it, right? But the intentions were different. At least I felt like it was, right?
Yeah.
Like I felt like Satoshi was anon because he created something that he felt like was going to be very powerful, which it was, and he wanted it to kind of run on its own. And whether whoever you think that is, like the whole storyline is that it was an anon person, right? And then now, but this is really going to show if what we're saying is happening right now. If the transition of power and this, the legacy guys, which let's be honest, they have way more money than the strongest people in our space do right now, combined, of course, because there are some really, really rich people in crypto. But are they changing the table, the rules of the table, right? And I think they are. I 100% think they are. But because of like young generational influence, there'll be certain things that kind of hang on, whether that's kind of the, NFTs and collectibles. Maybe they continue on and they come into the like this big, multi-billion-dollar industry. But when it comes to like shielding yourself from staying anonymous and shielding yourself because you feel like it's crypto and you can get away with certain things, that stuff I think is going to get cut down, because it's not going to work. All it takes is really one institution getting affected negatively for them to find you in your house. I don't care how anon you are. They can find terrorists in, like the remote areas of wherever. They're going to be able to find you. Yeah, but they're going to be able to, if they want to find you, they can find you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think there's going to be a wake up call for people that just try to get away with that. And there's probably people listening in right now that are like, man, that's totally against, all the, the fundamentals of crypto and all those things. The game has changed, guys. For all the people that wanted BlackRock and all these things to buy up the Bitcoin ETF, that's what comes with it. You know what I mean? That's what comes with it is once institutions come over here. So but you could have tremendous success in this industry still, though. You just got to know how to play the rules and play this new style of game that's going to be in front of us.
Yeah, we'll see. So today's main topic of the day is 2026 crypto portfolio preview. Is now the perfect time to buy the dip? I don't think so. And so there's something here I want to kind of show here. And I do think so. This is crypto narratives ranked by returns 2025. RWA, obviously one of the biggest returns this year, 185%, right? But we're talking stable coins. We're talking uninvestable products, right? But mainly like the coins and stuff like that. So layer one, talking Bitcoin, Ethereum, and some of these XRP and stuff like that, up 80%. Made in USA stuff, up 30%. Meme coins. Okay, this is where it gets rough, down 31% year over year. DeFi down 34%. So if you invested in, let's just say the top 10 DeFi products, you're down 34%. If you invested in the top L2s, Arbitrum, Optimism, and so on and so on, you're down about 40%. If you invested in AI year over year, you're down about 50%. Any AI project. DEX, if you got into any DEXs, including Aerodrome, you're down about 55% this year. Solana ecosystem, if you invested anything in the Solana ecosystem over the course of the last 12 months, you were down 64%, if not way more. Gaming, 75%. DPIN, 76%. Dude, this is telling me right now, honestly, that, we're in a bear market. There's no other way around it.
There's no other way around it, but it's also telling me, in my opinion, that like the transition of like institutions are here. Look at the top three. Those have been narratives that have been kind of pushed by mainstream a bit. Real world assets, that's their bread and butter.
Yeah.
Layer one, that's I feel like that's a little unfair there, because I think layer one's always going to feel like it's stronger. And then made in America, made in the US, that one is a part of the whole administration push, right? So and to be honest, and it's weird seeing this, but like the fact that meme coins took one of the least amount of like gut punches is crazy, because right now it's like those are the ones that are like so marketable, because they're just constantly like the get rich overnight type of thing, right? And the fact that they've only taken a 31% pullback is crazy compared to people that are probably doing research in what DeFi, L2s, AI. Like, you think the people that probably felt like, okay, I want to buy utility, I want to be smart, they got wrecked harder than people that were buying meme coins.
Well,
no, I'm based off of the percentage. Based off of the percentage. Based off of the percentage there. Is that what the numbers are telling you?
Yeah, so this is basically saying, right? So this is year over year, right? So basically, this is Dogecoin, this is Shiba, this is Pepe, right? These are some of the stronger meme coins, in my
that have a lot
opinion,
of volume
that
and
have,
stuff. Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
100%. Like that, if you invested in Dog with Hat, you're down 90%. If you invested in Peanut, you're down 90%. So I don't think it's talking directly about those. I think it's talking about the upper echelon of the meme
Well, I
coin
think it's
sector.
averaging them all in though, because it is the category there. You know what I'm saying? Hey,
Yeah,
believe me, like I'm puzzled like you are right now because like I've felt it personally,
yeah,
in the meme coin sector, and you got to count those daily, thousands of coins being launched, and maybe they didn't count those because you've got to count those. Those are definitely 95% losses on average,
yeah.
with probably like 90% of them. So that's probably not an accurate. I don't think that's an accurate analytic, but maybe it is. Who knows? I'm puzzled like you are whenever I saw that.
Yeah, so let's go take a quick look real quick. So this is the meme coin. I wish you can do year, but you can't. But Dogecoin, Shiba, Meme Core. So Meme Core was an outlier. Meme Core came out of nowhere. I don't think see this as a meme coin though. It's like a launch pad. So I guess Pump Fun is they're actually saying as well. Trump, Bonk, Pudgy Penguins. But these are all down bad though. Pudgy's down. I mean, I guess not if you go year over year.
I mean, where we are right now is almost the
Yeah.
all-time low for the previous,
Yeah.
right? So I mean, it's pretty
Mhm.
bad for everything. How much is
Yeah, this is down
what's their market cap?
68% on the year here. So Budgie's around 561 million. So yeah, I think something's wrong with CoinGecko's tweet here because I see way worse than that. So I'll look into it more.
But regardless though, like my point I think still stands that the people that were trying to research deep into Web3
yeah,
and felt like, okay, let me find the strong sectors. I mean, DPAN was horrible. I think it was like minus 76%, right? So yeah, so there's definitely this was a year of I think BY said it perfectly there. Crypto was for decentralization. Now the controllers are controlling and manipulating. And I think that this was that year for them to kind of stick their chest out and say, you guys think that you guys have a lot of control over your own space even? No. Like, we are the ones who make the world go around, which is kind of sucks, but at the same time it's a little humbling too, because I feel like the space, like you just got to be smarter. You got to be smarter now, like and
it's easy to say.
Yeah, no, believe me, dude. Like it's almost kind of like playing a game, but the people you're playing against have cheat codes on or something, right? And you're like, you played this game forever, and you're like, oh, what the hell? That's not okay.
Yeah.
That's new. Okay, I got to figure that, and then you just keep getting killed or whatever. But it is what it is. You got to adapt, and that's how successful people become successful. They get punched in the gut, get punched in the mouth, and they get up. They, when you don't get up, that's whenever you give up and you try to figure out do something else with your life. But the ones that do have those big success stories, they've gotten up multiple times.
Well, it's kind of like what you said, right? It's imagine just going to like the YMCA or like a gym or something to go play basketball, and you're playing with dudes who are like you. You do good like around those guys, but then you walk in the gym one day and there's a couple NBA players, and you're just like, okay, I can still compete. And you come in the gym the next day and there's 6 more, and you're like, I can't even get on the floor anymore. Like I can't even get a shot off anymore. Like I gotta
get
go
a
to
win.
the gym. I can't. You know what I mean? So it's like your gym has been taken over by elites, right? So you can't even get on the court anymore. Like you used to be, the number 1 player in the gym, and now you're the 12th best player in the gym. Right?
But you know what you gotta do. But what you gotta do is you gotta keep trying to stay on and get a couple buckets here and there and show them and be like, I don't care, Embiid, get out of my way. He's like,
yeah, right.
He just knocks you out. He just knocks you out. Hey, anybody can hit a shot though. All you gotta do is get a little bit of space.
Yeah, but can you get space on Luca on you or like
well,
Maxi defending you? You can't get
well,
space on these
Maxi's
guys.
totally different story than Luca defensively. But I see your point. And the point is that you gotta keep trying to figure out where they're slacking, where they're being lazy. Hey, look, someone's at the door, and then you go shoot it real quick, right? You gotta figure it out. You gotta figure it out. And that's life, man. Like, you know, you go through hard things, but it just sucks when it flips. The script is flipped on you out of nowhere.
100%. Shout out to the people that are here today. We got the man Lackey Lukey says Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Lackey Lukey. We got Luna in the building. Shout out to you. Thanks for the post. BY says, hey guys, hope y'all had a good Xmas. I've been having a hard time connecting my Xpress wallet, my MetaMask wallet to Merlin chain to stake. Use MetaMask.
Make sure the RPC, all that stuff is right with Merlin. Shizzy, what's that website you use all the time? It's easy to connect it.
Oh, it's chainless. You can actually just go to scan.merlinchain.io and then you can see the Merlin chain button right at the top right, and then you hit that and then it'll connect your wallet right away. That's the easiest way. Scan.merlinchain.io. And then you just hit the connect button there, and it's just basically their ETH scan, right? Their Merlin's version of ETH scan. That's the easiest way, honestly. But yeah, you can chainless.org is another one. But you have to type in Merlin and all that. So shout out to Blazing Bandit. What's up, my dudes? Hope you had a wonderful Xmas. Shout out to you, my friend. Bitwise says crypto was created for decentralization, but now the controllers are trying to manipulate and control crypto as well. Wherever there's money to be made, big money wants 100%, and they want to take out the easy. They want to take out the easy money for sure. So. Yeah, man, shout out to you guys and make comments. If you are watching, please put some comments in there, man. We strive off the comments here, so please do that. But let's head into some Bitcoin price action. Want to get into it?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do
Crypto price action and bubbles. Let's get into it. We got to rename that.
Crypto price action and bubbles. All right, guys, before we get into the price action here, on the YouTube side, smash that like for us and sub to the channel, notifications, all that good stuff. On X, let's share the space as much as possible, guys. It's the last Friday before the new year, right? So let's get it going. And then shout out to the Pump Stream guys over there with the Pump Fun ecosystem and community, and Zora as well. And then shout out to Carta.trade. As you can see down there, you guys can check out us on their website at pyro.buzz. Sorry, Pyro's website. Also, if you want to help contribute to the show, you can always just trade our pump token if you want. No pressure with that, but you can see our stream is there with Pyro. It definitely helps out. But let's get into some price action, because that's why y'all are probably not here for the price action, because the price action is no bueno. Let's check it out here. Let me pull up some Bitcoin on the hour chart. So Bitcoin on the hour chart. Let's take a looky. Oh man, it's just been chop suey, honestly, forever, man. It's like we are stuck in this like twilight zone of 87,000 to like 90,000, right? And it's just no fun, right? It's no fun to look at it. But hey, let's take a look at where we are currently on the hour chart. Looks like we are continuing the sell pressure session here. You can see the MACD fast line starting to head down south, right? It's almost vertical there to where it's just pointing straight down. And you can see the stochastics as well, just passed over the oversold territory. I imagine we're going to be down here for a bit. We did start this hour candle though, with some green. So that's good to see there. At this point, I don't think Bitcoin price action really matters too much, unless we see some huge, like just aggressive push up, but I'm not expecting that anymore. I did say closer to the end of the year, but man, I don't know. This chop seems like it wants to hang out here. Taking a look here at support and resistance, going back to 6 a.m. Eastern, you can see the support is kicking in here at it's a lower volume level, but above this is very, very low. It's interesting to see that, but you can see support kind of catching the price action here. Below that, it does switch back to resistance, and then resistance again at the highest volume area. So that's kind of why I'm feeling like we probably break down even below 87 maybe. Above here, we are losing to resistance as well. I say we because I'm in the support group always. But as you can see, Resistance is kind of holding the edge up in these low volume areas. So I unless there's some huge buy bids that come up, we could push through because there's not too much volume up there, like I mentioned. So, not too many sells or buys, but if there's some big enough buys, it could push us through, and not enough sells to kind of hold us down. That could be something that happens. So keep your eye on that. So I could be wrong if that happens, right? And we start to see some momentum just trucking through here. Now you get up to here though, and you just got it's completely blanked out though. So it doesn't look like too much of a promising Friday for Bitcoin's price action. But usually when I say that, it does the opposite. So just keep your eye on it. If I were to, just say where I think it's heading for the rest of the day, or at least for the next 4 to 6 hours, I'd say it's probably going to go down. We're going to break below 87, but that is just me, not financial advice at all. I'm just going off of these basic high-level indicators, right? So let's take a look at the 4-hour. The 4-hour just came out of the buy pressure and went into a very weak sell pressure. So something to keep our eye on here. If we do break down below 87K and it gets a little aggressive, let's say we head to 86, maybe 85, we'll definitely go into a stronger sell pressure session on the MACD for the 4-hour. So keep your eye on that. The daily is looking very not buy pressure style situation here. It looks like it wants to close this situation coming out of the buy pressure session, which, hey, at least we got a little bit of an extended buy pressure session here, even though the later the tail end of it was weak, very weak. But yeah, it seems like it wants to close this up, right? So let's talk about the time frame. So we're talking about hour, which doesn't look great. Looks like it wants to possibly break down below 87. 4-hour just came out of the buy pressure, barely started the sell pressure session. So kind of aligns with breaking down below 87. And then we got the daily here, which it looks like it's getting pretty exhausted on the daily chart for Bitcoin for the buy pressure session here. So, those three things kind of tell me it wants to go down a little bit more, but we'll see. We'll see what happens for the rest of today. Let's take a look at ETH real quick, just to kind of see what's going on in ETH world here. Let's go to the hour chart here. Reset the chart. See, I made these like levels a while ago, and we're still ranging in these do nothing zone. You do nothing here. It's been do nothing for a while, right? But anyhow, you can see here it's very similar setup. We're in that sell pressure session here, so we could see a breakdown below 2,900, maybe heading towards 28 for the next 4 to 6 hours. The 4-hour chart has started that sell pressure session, very similar to Bitcoin there. So ETH has been really looking to Bitcoin, and it did jump the gun here and went into a sell pressure session, which is a little weak right now. So this is interesting here to see this. But Ethereum's really looking towards Bitcoin, saying, "Hey, just tell me when it's go time." And Bitcoin has just been like, "Yeah, you're probably gonna have to wait for a while." Let's take a look here at the crypto bubbles. So this is the alt market. Merlin back in the top 100, sitting at 43 cents. It's down 6.5% though. But I think yesterday it almost got to like 50 cents. So it makes sense for the pullback here. You are seeing Pippin pull back about 9% here, sitting at 483. Pippin is that AI meme coin that everybody's kind of talking about, had a resurgence starting back in November. And then, some of the stuff that's sticking out to the upside, you have WillFi up 4% there. Morpho, which is a DeFi protocol, right? It is up 4.6%. And then what else is here that's sticking out? Nothing else really sticking out a lot. And then you can see the stuff that's pulling back it looks about to be like between 3 and 6% on the pullback on average, actually probably 3 and 5%. So pullback's not too bad in the alt market right now from what I'm seeing here. But yeah, so that is the top 100 peak here in the top 200. Some stuff that's sticking out: DCR up 19.2%, Prom up 14%, Stable up 8.9%. Stuff that's pulled back: FTN pulling back 33.8%. And that's pretty much it, guys. It's been status quo, I feel like, for today, right? It's kind of what we've been seeing in the markets, which has been nothing.
Yeah, honestly, dude, I can't see anything happening now, and it sucks to say this, until Q2. I don't see anything happening in Q1. I just don't see any type of movement or excitement or really anything that has to do with crypto really kind of pushing up. I do feel like it's going to be a sideways and down market for at least the next 100 days. Do you agree with that? Do you potentially could see a sideways and down market for over the course of the next 100 days?
Man, if it does, next 100 days, that's going to take out a lot more people in this
I think
space.
that's exactly what they want.
I mean, it's yeah. If we get sideways and down, and not any sustainability for any sector, really, I mean, there's a couple of these blue chips, of course, if you trade them and they've shown
then it's
strength.
like, are we traders or are we investors here? Crypto
Well,
just trading market?
I mean, right now it is. And to be honest, and
That
to be
sucks to say.
fair, 2025 completely was for the whole year. We heard it from some of the most
That's why I didn't
experienced
make any
people.
money.
You heard it from
I don't like trading. I like investing over the course of the 4 years, right? Like that's what I like. I like getting in something this year and then it's gonna pop next year, right? So you couldn't do that last year.
No, you couldn't.
I don't like
man.
trading. I'm not a trader. I don't like getting in something here and getting out here and then waiting for it to fall and getting like that's not my game. My game is finding good projects with have good upside opportunity and holding them long term. I think that is how you win in crypto, and you just can't do that anymore.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that is what a lot of people were expecting for their. This is one of the things that sucks the most. Let's say
Yeah.
that you were someone that you at 2022, you were like, okay, bear market. I believe in this, that, and the other. Now, if you got into a couple of these plays, like Solana, you made out like a bandit. I think I mean, you're still good, but you had to really catch it at that $16 and, say, okay, I really believe in Solana. They're getting crapped on right now, left and right. FTX influence is just killing them. And I believe them so much, I'm going to buy a grip of Solana and hold it till 2025. Right. What other coins could you have done that with? You know what I mean? Like
XRP.
Okay, so there was a couple that like if you were to hit and then you would have to time it perfectly, and actually you would have to exit like in July or June or July for XRP. And then Solana hit its all-time high in Q4 of 2024.
Yeah.
How are you gonna like let's say you held both of those?
Yeah.
Like so XRP did have a jump up in 2024 and around that same time too. So do you exit both in 2024? Because you're thinking 2025 is the post halving year.
No chance in hell you
exactly
exit.
Right.
Yeah.
So someone you might not even exit your Solana because you're like, you know what? Like there's gonna be such brighter days in 2025. Right. But if you didn't exit in Q4 2024, Solana, that was the all-time high that we've had in local, right? And then you would have to try to hit it perfectly in the summer for XRP if you were holding both those coins, right? So that's why, like, that's what the reason why I'm saying this is because it sucks so bad for the people that you were talking about, and like you're saying, I like to invest in stuff in the 4-year cycle type of situation that I feel like had a bright future, have like they have their own chain, they're layer 1, or they have a really strong protocol, right? And they're being backed. No one really benefited unless you timed it perfectly. And then everybody else, they just didn't time it. Oh, and then they got out and then they probably were trying to look for different things. And it was just the hardest 4-year cycle, if that exists still, to date.
And maybe this is the time to do that, right? Maybe you need this almost like bottom signal in the markets to do that, right? When you have Tau at 217. Right, I think holding Tau over the next 2 years, you're gonna make a lot of money. It's maybe getting in like in Merlin and Solana and
so Tau is one of my 2026 portfolio picks. Tau.
Look at this, dude. Oh my god, the manipulation on this coin is ridiculous right now.
Crazy. Ethereum, Tau, Solana, Those are the safer ones that I'm looking at. BNB, I think BNB is going to have a really strong trajectory once everything is good. Then you move to like a little bit more of the risky stuff, Hyperliquid, but established, right? And then you could get down to Merlin, you know, because Merlin was one of those layer twos that wasn't in the negative 46% or whatever you read off on CoinGecko, right? Because it started the year.
I don't think it's in that category. I think that's Ethereum L2s. Yeah, I don't think they count Bitcoin L2s because they're not technically layer twos. They're side chains.
But what are they counting them as? Layer ones?
Side chains, yeah.
But I don't think sidechain was in that percentage breakdown. So they either threw them into the layer 1 or layer 2 or didn't include them at all.
I'm just saying the Merlin's not in the L2 area. None of the Bitcoin.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. So whenever you click on that category, they're not there.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I think that they're basically just because I don't think Polygon Matic's even in there either. Honestly. So I'm just taking a look right now. I mean, Mansell, Polygon. Oh yeah, Merlin Chain is in here. They must have just put it in. So that's good. That's good to see. You're right, 100%. So that's good to see. You are seeing Merlin Chain in here. Stacks is in there now. Starknet, I like it. Why is Starknet considered an L2 now for Bitcoin? I guess no for ETH.
I think for everything. No, I'm just kidding. But I mean, like
Dora,
Starknet, dude. Starknet could be a big time sleeper.
Yeah, it really could. 7 cents. Damn, dude. I remember I saw it at 50 cents last year. That's crazy.
Yeah,
it's been down recently pretty badly, actually. So is now the time to just take your pennies, find it on a couch, and go buy a couple of Starknet tokens. Go buy a couple, a couple of towels if you have a couple $100 and stuff like. Honestly, that could be the play right now. Just go take a couple $100 each week, do a DCA into a couple different coins, and just
so honestly, I do think that is the play, is to put together a solid portfolio of coins that you witnessed in 2025 either look stronger than the other ones because most of everybody kind of pulled back, and the market is moving together for the most part for the blue chips and established coins, right? But then you find some of those that stick out that are newer. The ones that are newer, you got to figure out like why are you putting them in? Like there has to be a significant reason why you are putting them into your portfolio.
Yeah.
And then trying to kind of step away a little bit, right? The problem is that people are really in the space. They want to always kind of peek to see what's going on because they don't want to miss that big meta or that big coin. In like the meme coin sector right now, I feel like that is a little bit of the problem too, is that like they remember Pepe from spring of 2023, or I think it was the winter of 2023 because I think it was February, but around that time where it was switching over. And it's like whenever it's so quiet and people are getting beat up and all those things, that one coin will emerge and then and then go crazy. And I think people are like not wanting to miss that, or a meta that is going to run. But the problem is that like while you're doing that, you're looking over there and you're saying, oh, this could be that, or that could be that, and you end up like getting into these coins that are high risk, and then they look good and then they pull back, and then you're like, okay, I guess it wasn't it. So I think there's a big issue right now with Web3 natives. They feel more lost than ever. The people that had a lot of experience.
I feel more lost than ever. Like I don't know how to interpret this market, right? I mean, for me, I do see an easy a couple things that I could be doing. So, I mean, with AI now and it being so easy to code, I mean, start coding projects, like start creating some maybe something pretty cool that it could, on top of that, potentially taking, starting my DCA back up, right? Figuring out where I can make some money and start putting 200-300. That was when I was the happiest in crypto because I didn't care if there was a pullback, right, on the assets that I believed in, right? I didn't care, but I was actually happy because I was able to get more of that the following week, right? Because I was putting between $200 and $300. I was actually working overtime, and every dollar from my overtime, whatever it was, depending on how many hours I worked that week, went directly into a DCA strategy, right? This went right into DCA. And so if I was like, oh, can we do overtime this week? Yeah, sure. All right, cool. So whatever that was, put it in, and I was happy. I was buying Phantom at like bear market lows, but then and now it's Sonic, and it's back to bear market lows. It's actually lower than it was. But I think that now, potentially maybe this is now the bear market lows. I don't know. But I do think a lot of these tokens are bottomed, if not bottom mean, like close,
Yeah. Yeah, but you made a good point about, if you are in the space every day and this is what you do full time, build something that is useful for the space, or that you think can make the world look at crypto and say, hey, that's a pretty cool project, or that's a pretty cool product. And I'm starting to see a little bit more and more people that are in the space every day starting to do that. I know that's something that we've been focusing on as well, because it will get you in touch with like building something that's useful, building something that makes the space better. Because right now there's a lot of stuff that is here that makes the space worse. I mean, if we're just being honest.
I mean, meme coins makes the space worse.
Honestly. I think it's how the meme coins or market is working. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's daily pump and dumps.
Yeah, but meme coins, like all in all, like initially they weren't like as bad, right? But like whenever Doge became something big, people kind of like laughed about it. She got Elon Musk talking about it and talking about it on Saturday Night Live. Like, why is he talking about it? Because he's kind of having fun with it, I guess. That's whenever someone like him, the richest man in the world, is having fun with a meme coin, that's peak like euphoria for memes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But what happens is that like then it gets to a point to where greed comes in, the market's like going crazy, there's money and liquidity everywhere, then you're launching all types of it's almost a competition of like, can you launch the more dumb meme coin, and then when it gets tough, like that thing gets like times like 50, because people remember like how a meme coin went from 0 to $1 billion. That's imprinted. It's almost kind of like the lottery, but for today's generation, right? Or like the younger generation. So we'll see.
For sure. A couple more topics here. On December 25th, which was Christmas Day, yesterday, a update to Trust Wallet's Chrome extension, version 2.68. So yes, there was an update to the Trust Wallet Chrome extension, led to about $7 million in stolen from hundreds of users across ETH, Bitcoin, and Solana. So if you had Trust Wallet and you had your Bitcoin in there, Ethereum, and there was Solana in there, potentially, if you had this automatic update, there was a huge outflow from your wallets, right? All your wallets just basically got drained. Trust Wallet has confirmed security incident limited to the Trust Wallet Chrome browser extension. So if you had a Trust Wallet on your phone and stuff like that, you were fine. It was only through the Chrome extension browser on on the was it Google Chrome, right? So told users to disable it and upgrade to V2.269 or V2.69. Yeah, this stuff has to stop, right? I mean, how can we bring new people in when this stuff is happening? Yeah, Trust Wallet and CZ, they're gonna, all the funds that went from one wallet to this hacker's wallet is going to be returned in full, right? The entire balance. If you had one Solana in there, that one Solana will be returned to you. But at the same time, dude, like an update to a Chrome extension. I mean, we both use Chrome extensions, right? Could you imagine one day just your hot wallets just gone because of an update? It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely scary, right? And he I think he followed up and said like everybody's going to be compensated and all these things, and he said funds are seifu. And the first comment I think I saw underneath that, he goes, someone said $7 million was stolen, how are funds seifu? I was like, He's got a point. Like, I don't feel comfortable still just because you say funds are Seifu after $7 million guy. Take it out, right? But dude, like I don't even know how to view these people anymore. You know, I don't know how to view CZ. I don't know how to view like Brian Armstrong. I don't know how to view any of them because like they've entered the good old boys club now. You know what I mean? And were they ever one of us? Maybe at one point long time ago, right? But at least they acted like they were one of us because we were both like, you know, kind of trying to fight the administration or like the SEC and all those things. And now I just feel like it's not like we're not on the same team almost, you know? I don't know, man. You know, maybe that's just me looking too much into it.
I mean, you got to remember these guys are billionaires, right? They're not in the space anymore to make money. I think that's the difference between us and them. They're in the space now to legitimize the space, and they don't care if you make money anymore. They want, you know, the space to be looked at as the next financial sector of the world. And, you know, potentially the stuff that we do here bothers them a little bit as well, right? The on-chain, you know, yelling at each other on X and the constant rugging of project founders, the anonymous voices. I don't think they want that anymore. I think they want that to go. I think they want the space to grow up, and because they've grown up, right? They've gotten rich, so they don't want the space to be how it used to be. So I think that's why you kind of feel that way. They're not one of us because they're not. I mean, they're billionaires, right?
Yeah. But like, for example, I feel like CZ, you know, the whole time that, you know, 4.meme was running hard in what was it, September, August and September, like he was like all about that energy. You know what I mean? And that was meme after meme after meme. And some of them went to 100 million. And then they all retraced significantly. You know, so as much as like we say that they don't want this, totally same way. You know, the founder of Solana seems like he doesn't want pump fund and all these things to happen, but yet, like every once in a while, he'll tweet something about like, imagine if everybody just bought the same coin, and that goes like 10 coins called the same coin launch on pump fund, and so to me,
it's not his fault.
Well, it's not. It's not his fault, but like, come on, you got to imagine that that's going to happen. You know what I mean? That's like the largest volume generator on your chain.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Let's get into our next thing here. So every week we are lucky enough to have the great guys from Agent Hustle, Emblem Vault, MigrateFun joining the show. It really does feel like, I know I say this every week, but it definitely feels like these guys are one of the view builders who are actually innovating right now and innovating on a daily basis because, you know, it started off this year. I mean, what a year these guys had. Started off this year with Emblem Vault, and then, you know, came Agent Hustle. And then came MigrateFun. And I know these guys have another project they're thinking about launching potentially next year as well. So these guys are innovating. They're pushing boundaries. They're making these launch pads worry a little bit when it comes to keeping their users. They got to make them happy.
Yeah, and it was kind of like what we were talking about. We were like, you know, if you're in the space every day and you're trying to figure something out, just build something that's useful. Well, they've been doing that, right?
Yeah.
Now they've been a company for a long time. So, you know, but they did it in the perfect year to do that.
Yeah.
And it was already like, you know, ready and loaded. So excited for them.
Today's a little different though. Normally we have Jake on or Adam or Chris. Today we got the whole damn crew.
The squad.
Let's do it, guys. I'm excited for this. Let's bring up Jake, bring up Adam. Let's bring up Chris.
Yo!
Guys, thank you guys so much for being here today.
Merry Christmas, man. How's your guys' holidays so far?
Well, you know. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and assume that Jake worked through Christmas because he told me that you guys were like barely like able to breathe because you guys were grinding so hard. But my Christmas, I don't know about you, Shizzy, it was kind of you know, status quo outside of the markets. But yeah, I mean, kind of same Christmas. What about you?
Well, when they opened the present, I looked at them and I was like, that damn truck was my crypto, you little piece of shit. No, I'm just like, no. I mean, it was nice to kind of take a step back and kind of really remember like what really matters, right? When it comes to family and why we do this on a daily basis, why we push ourselves so hard. And so that's always nice, especially, you know, you went to my mom's and stuff like that. So it was a nice reality check for me, honestly, that, you know, taking a couple of days off, which is weird, especially for us, right? So how was you guys though?
I mean, there's no days off, right? I mean, it's like I was answering DMs and doing shit yesterday, and today it's some stuff going on. I don't know if we want to mention that a little bit later about our new kind of partnership and stuff. Jake wants to mention that a bit later. So it never stops, man. It's 24/7, you know. But I think we're pumped about this year. I mean, going into this year, obviously the market's terrible. If you're in crypto, it's rough. But for us, like the kind of impact crypto to, you know, Web 2 and the way it's all going to fit together, I don't think we could be more excited. We're pumped.
Yeah. What about you, Chris? I'm curious about you. Like, how was your Christmas and your perspective heading into 2026?
Well, first of all, it's good to see my boys, you know, on our home away from home. Good morning, everybody. How is everyone doing? Christmas was good. Just hang out with the family, but going into the new year, this feels like the perfect setup to me. This feels like we've had the sharpest decline since the COVID crash. It feels like any tourist that was even remotely interested in crypto is no longer interested in crypto. It feels like even the most diehard crypto natives are completely sidelined. And I'm pretty sure that this is actually the thing that the crypto natives have been saying for the longest time. I think it's finally going to happen. Don't let the bankers steal your coins for cheap. And I think that they're finally going to steal the coins for cheap.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. You know, we were talking about, like, you know, how this year's been just crazy and focusing on building and stuff like that. Jake, I'm curious, in your mindset as like a CEO of all this, do you feel like it's like with the market declining and builders losing motivation, do you feel like it's time to like go for the kill? Is that where your mindset is with your team and everybody there? Because you guys are obviously going for the kill.
Yeah, I mean, this is just typical startup life, right? Startups go through cycles, no matter if you're in crypto, you're in fintech, you're in robotics, right? There's always going to be people that are wiped out, no matter, you know, what the market conditions are. And this is just another one of those times for us. We continue to grind and push product out, no matter if the market's up or the market's down. And people tend to leave and get wiped out for different types of reasons. And yeah, we do feel like 2026 is going to be our year. We're pretty convinced that interoperability is going to be a premier focus moving forward for the entire industry. And it does seem like that's going to happen. And I don't think there's anybody better positioned than us to try to become a leader in that sector that's been dominated by two companies that's been funded with over hundreds of millions of dollars and hundreds of employees. And there's just a lot of catalysts that can happen. The market itself is down. I think it picks back up, as I said a few months ago on this show, around this time. And the last 2 years, the market top and market bottom has been on the 27th or 28th of December. So could be putting a bottom in here, could go lower. Doesn't really know. Who knows? But for us, MigrateFun has all of the attention and is bringing in the revenue. I think by the end of the month, should generate $300,000 in Q4, which I was looking at comparisons of bridges, which is actually more revenue than Wormhole and Layer Zero each, right? So we have one product that's putting up as much revenue as our competitors. But the more important focus is going to be the merger of Hustle into an Emblem Vault into this super app, which should be dropping later today. So people will be able to celebrate their post-Christmas and experiment with the new version of Agent Hustle. There's a lot of updates there. And so once that is pushed, then, you know, people can kind of see for themselves what we've been working on for the last few months.
You said super app dropping today. Like, I just can't get my head around that. Let's dig into that, if you don't mind, a little bit. What would you describe a super app as?
Yeah, so I would say the most popular super app in the world is WeChat, right? In China, users in China. It dominates. I think has over 1 billion users. They do everything from just simple conversation to paying their bills to payments for all of the different retail stores and simple file sharing and things of that nature. In crypto right now, there's a handful of different companies that are building towards the same idea, but they've all had different starting points. For example, Coinbase is probably the premier company that's been building towards this for over 10 years, and maybe almost 15 years now at this point. They have the exchange itself that they've probably funneled hundreds of billions of dollars into and millions of labor hours. And then they have Base, right? And so you kind of see this as Coinbase, the exchange is this interface or on-ramp to the on-chain economy. Binance does the same exact thing, right, with BNB. And with what we're doing, it's kind of a similar vision. You have Emblem Vault, right, which is the tech stack that allows us to interact with any type of chain. And then you have Agent Hustle, which is going to be the terminal to interact with any of these. And this goes everywhere from just centralized exchanges to protocols, right, to simple kind of applications and infrastructure like ourselves. And with Hustle, we have kind of the confluence of two things: interoperability and intelligence, connecting all of the chains in a simple interface and then making it so easy to use that you just use a chat interface or an LLM interface to interact with the on-chain economy. It's entirely possible. We're still a year or 2 or 3 years too early for this type of experience, but we want to be positioned for when that does happen, because when the next wave of users do come, they're going to be much more familiar with the LLM experience. And as Chris has said, a lot of the crypto natives are getting washed out, right? So if you accept that theory, then the next people to come into the crypto are not going to be crypto natives, right? And so you got to build an experience that's for them. This is what Coinbase has been doing for a long time, and Binance has been doing the same thing. And in a roundabout way, we started doing this with Hustle. That wasn't the initial intention, but now that we see where we are today, we just have such a clear advantage from a technological standpoint because we vertically own the majority of the tech stack versus some of the competitors who do not. And so for that, we want to build towards the next, 100 million or billion people that come to crypto. And we just feel like the majority of those people are going to be in an LM interface, and they're not going to care that runes are on Bitcoin or that, Polymarket is on Polygon or that Pump Fund is on Solana. They're just going to come to an interface and say, I need to buy this token for me. And it doesn't matter what chain it's on for most people.
I would love that. Adam, you're about to say something.
Well, I was just going to say, it's really the battles between decentralized infrastructure or centralized infrastructure, right? The traditional way to do this was whatever on Robinhood. It may be still, Robinhood still may win. But this is the opportunity for crypto to kind of, use the tech in the way that is better. And we'll see. I mean, it's going to be a battle. There's no doubt the big players in the centralized world are going to fight for this. And who knows, maybe it's some sort of mix. I think that's kind of more like Coinbase's stance. We'll see how it all plays out. I just, like Jake said, we may be a little bit early. I think that's our general vibe. A little early to the kind of just general user. Obviously, we've targeted the kind of crypto user first, and I think that's been a good strategy. Brought us a lot of good people to test it out. But the big game changer is going to be when something hits and the general public wants to use something that's crypto native. How are they going to use it? And I just think we're really in a great position for that, whatever chain it happens to be on. If it's on whatever, it's on Binance next, like, let's go, man. Like, if it happens on Binance chain, let's do it. I just think we're really, really in a real special position to take advantage of the next big thing. Not like we have to do it. We're ready to be the interface layer for whatever is the next big thing.
Yeah. And, being early, it's a quicker cycle every time. Like being early to the internet, you could have been early for 50 years. But if you were early to mobile, you could have been early for 10 years. If you were early to crypto, you've been early for 5 years. If you're early to AI, maybe you'll be early for a few years. I looked at my ChatGPT wrap-up stats. I was in the earliest 0.7%, and I wasn't even that early. But that's because so many people came after me, right? And so many people are going to come after this giant wave. that just came. I think I signed up for my account like in October of last year. But you look at Coinbase, they started out as basically a centralized wallet infrastructure, centralized payments and wallet infrastructure. And they've kind of expanded to the app layer. WeChat, it started out as a social app and layered on payments, and it's kind of like a Telegram plus Cash App, Venmo, all of those kind of going the same direction. And then Emblem Vault, it started out as a decentralized, non-custodial, multi-chain wallet, and we plugged in an AI intelligence layer, and then we can kind of build apps outward. And so, like Jake said, just directionally, everyone's going the same direction, but how we're getting there is all completely different. So it's going to be pretty exciting to watch.
Yeah, 100%. And like being early isn't always a bad thing. Like I was day one on ChatGPT, right? I was I'm in the 0.1% thanks to the All In podcast. Jason Calcanis was talking about it. I was day one Hustle user. I feel like I have more experience than most people on Agent Hustle, so that's pretty cool. So it's being early sometimes is it kind of gives you that edge on a lot of other people, because like I felt like I was able to use ChatGPT for stuff with that on-chain revolution that was just like, oh wow, I feel like we don't even need employees. we can do everything ourselves now that everyone else kind of caught on to that. Same thing with Agent Hustle. Kind of learning the inside and out of it is huge, especially right now. If you can get an edge right now while if the super app does drop this week, I think is huge. But like, is there any edge that potentially someone can get on, potentially after this update happens that would help them maybe take advantage of, especially in the early days?
Yeah, I'd say, I mean, it's really comes down to what's your interest. We've built it out now to support 5 chains or 6 chains, right? Solana, Bitcoin, ETH, Polygon, Binance Smart Chain, and Hedera. And with those come different types of applications, right? You have Polymarket on Polygon. On Solana, it's mostly about token launches. We added a cross-chain swap, so you could kind of go back and forth. And we also added OpenSea for NFTs, right? So ETH is like NFT chain. Solana is meme coin or token launch chain. Bitcoin's kind of the store of value. And then Polymarket is prediction market. However you want to combine them is really kind of up to you. I like the Polymarket stuff. I find it kind of interesting because Hustle has access to a variety of different data resources. And then he also has a memory, so you can start fine-tuning it to the specifics that you want. And we added something called Magic Tools. So the toolbox application is gone, and he just chooses the tools for you now. So a much needed improvement there. And we'll see once the market comes back how he manages all these different data sets and information between tokens and prediction markets and such. But the data is telling us that everyone is on prediction markets right now, right? And that's what our users and our power users said that they wanted to use. So we'll find out here over January, where people want to go. And then obviously with the different chains and cross-chain swaps. So our goal is to get to 1,000 daily active users. At one point, the peak was around 300, maybe a little bit over. It's kind of fallen now to maybe around 50 or so. And that's obviously with the market and has its confluences. But once we get up to 1,000 daily active users, we have a lot of different plans on how to intertwine tokenomics and the stuff, but it doesn't really work unless there's a lot of people actively using it. So we'll continue to add new features and more chains. We may actually pause on the chains and focus more on, we have to overhaul the subscription service because we have X402 to integrate, as well as we have some partners there. The Radar guys, we've partnered with ShadowPay, so that'll be added, as well as the new SDK. The target date launches around New Year's Eve. So once that is built, then we can focus on adding a developer community, and you can kind of build your own applications, whether you want to use Emblem Vault, Agent Hustle, the AI component, MigrateFun, a bunch of the different things above. And then we want to, just make the experience a much more simple kind of and straightforward type of UI, whether it's, adding a mobile app or some wallet extensions, and really kind of make this, vertically owned. We do want to show people what's really possible when you vertically own the wallet layer. When you look at things like MetaMask and Phantom, you see them adding applications, right? They added Polymarket, they added Perps, but it's really just confined to that wallet extension, and then they can create a browser. So we could kind of go about it the other way, where you have Agent Hustle as the entry point, but then you can make these assets portable into a wallet extension to then sign into any application, right? Or create some sort of mobile app. And there's a lot of other things that we can do, which I don't think any other company actually can, because there is no other Emblem vault. We've waited 10 years to see a competitor pop up, and there is still no competitor. So with that, we do want to take this in a very firm direction. And it seems like some of the market likes the direction. Obviously, with the price of the token is up almost 4x from the bottom, or I think it's up 3x from the bottom, whereas all other competition is still pretty firmly down. So the market is telling us that they like the direction that we're going, and we're just going to continue to innovate in ways that nobody else can.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, the way I think Jake maybe told you this story about I was trading some Sol to be able to trade on Polygon, to trade on Polymarket or whatever. I don't even know what it was, UST1, or I don't even know what Poly Market
USDCE.
Whatever, And I was like, just let me trade. And Hustle's like, oh, how much you want? I was like, whatever, send $20 over there. And then Hustle's like, well, do you want some of the gas token as well, or whatever. And so it's like, it was already thinking way ahead of what the user would already want to do, right? I think that it's like, it's such an infinite better user experience already. Then we've all done it, dude. We've all swapped for whatever USDC on ETH or whatever the fuck it is, and not had the right gas token or whatever. Like, we've all done that, and this is like a solved. I mean, he's already solved it, and it's only going to get better. And that's just like, so when I'm thinking about like the next big onboarding experience, say it happens on whatever, say it happens on Polygon. All right, how are people going to get there and use it and do it, right? I just think it's really awesome that not only crypto natives can just jump on Hustle and use it and bridge their Solana over or whatever, and just do it all through one user interface. It can also be for the normies to come in and get it through Coinbase, which we're going to hook in, where you can just put in your US dollars in Coinbase. So it's going to be exciting. It's like we're building for the future we know is going to happen. It's just like, when's it going to happen? When's the big, light switch going to come on? We know it's going to come on. This is like, it's inevitable. It is going to come on. It's just what's going to be that trigger, I'd love to hear what if you guys know of any upcoming triggers, bro, over your conversations over the last month. I mean, it feels like everybody's lost all hope that anything can even happen in crypto again. It's like,
we're out of triggers. There's no triggers. No triggers in the chamber. No
all
triggers
it is
in the chamber.
USD denominated stable coins. That's the future we've all signed up for. Like, fuck that shit, bro.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because like I think this next question for Chris kind of rolls into that, because people are like, we've had catalysts that we've like lined up on the show. That's what we do, right? We talk about this could spark the market, that could spark the market. None of those worked, right? So then what you see is what Chris said, a lot of these crypto natives leaving and losing interest in it. Chris, you've been on crypto Twitter for quite a while. All of you guys have. Is this the worst state that you've seen crypto Twitter and crypto natives in general? And, there's a conversation about KOLs too, like losing motion. They can't push anything anymore. Is that all changing? What do you think, Chris?
I mean, I think net, this is the worst it's ever been. And the reason why I would say that is because the hope of opportunity is extremely limited. Before Bitcoin was 20 or 30,000, there was hopes that it was going to go to hundreds of thousands. Some days you had to stick around and survive for it. You just had to be tangentially related. Maybe all the assets would rise at one time. But now we're all 5, 7, 10 years older, and a lot of people still haven't made it. And so they're super cynical because now Bitcoin's at $100,000 and everything else is smashed and they have no hope, right? So now they're like, there's so many people, you see it all over the timeline. I wasted 10 years of my life in this industry. I have no money. I give up all my social life and all my youth. And so this is like the worst sentiment that I've ever seen by far. But I just think that means that there's more opportunity than ever. I mean, the internet of value isn't going anywhere. Like what we've done here, being able to tokenize things in a digital realm is that have real value in the physical world is like the single most impactful breakthrough that I can imagine of the modern age. And so it's just a matter of kind of sticking around and being able to realize it. You know, we have the AI on the user side and how powerful it is for users. We also have AI on the builder side. Like Shannon just kind of like one-shotted something he was trying to build, and it was able to build it faster than he was able to build it. So what does that do for Shannon? You know, and as a small team, you know, kind of we're all we have a lot of surface area that we cover, but with AI, we can double or triple that exponentially. And so you kind of hear on the All In podcast, you guys are listeners also. They talk about Jake Cal's always like that AI is going to take the jobs, and starting by startups not hiring. And that's totally true. David Sachs doesn't see it, but I don't know how he doesn't see it. But smaller teams are just not going to hire their full suite of employees. It's going to be 2, 3, 4, 10-man teams going against these corporate giants. So big changes both on the user and the builder side, but we're in the best spot that we've ever been.
I would just layer on there, like I know J Cal says that stuff. I would say it in a way that maybe people can understand. It's like people aren't really hiring secretaries anymore either, right? But did all those people are all those people homeless now? No, you find you pivot to other worlds. We're all kind of our own secretaries now. We all write letters and emails and whatever, right? So it's like people shift and move. And what I think actually happens, especially in like the developer field, which if your dev's not using AI, they're not even devs anymore, right? These guys are all 100%. Using AI literally 24/7. And but the reality is we need more devs, bro, because we want to do more stuff. There's more opportunities, right? Once AI gets layered in, it's like Shannon's building new stuff. It's like, shoot, we need more devs to be able to build out what he just built out, right? So it's like I look at it. I'm definitely not in the Calacanis family of like, oh, it's all over. I'm like, no, it's game on. Like it's going to only grow this massive pie, and it's just a matter of being positioned.
Facts. Yeah, these are just real quick. These are like market expanding technologies. Like, you know, when Uber in the early days of Uber, they used to compare it to the taxi cab industry, but it's like orders of magnitude bigger than the taxi cab industry, because now you take an Uber to go to the grocery store. You have Uber bring you food from restaurants. You have Uber doing courier services that you would have never taken a taxi for. So same thing with like the development industry. You know, like I built an MVP of a product that we're going to launch over the weekend. And, you know, I'm not a super experienced dev, but you can imagine what someone like Shannon or Sammy or Budsy are able to do with some of these technology. You know, it's just me and my boys, Claude, Grok, ChatGPT 5.2. It's like me and the squad.
Those are some smart boys though.
Yeah, just me and the lads in the lab. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I created a lottery thing this morning, on-chain lottery, 3-number pick 'em in 15 minutes, just to show Yagobi like, yo, because we had a conversation with Jeff from Merlin Chain. He was basically telling us like, you know, I'm looking at all my devs and saying, if you don't vibe code, I don't need you anymore. And it's just like, that was like, wow, that was like a real eye-opening moment for me.
Yeah, for sure. It just makes things so much more efficient. I remember when Bunsy and Hath like started to really start vibe coding and using it, they were so excited because they were like, man, my life just got so much easier. I'm able to like create like 5 things whenever I could just create one before, just doing it manually by myself. But I think it's a huge movement in our space, and regular people can learn. That's the thing. And we're going to have a lot of great stuff. You guys are ahead of the curve, to be honest. I mean, there have been great builders in the past, you know, really good builders in the past in our space. But like, I feel like going into the era that we're about to go into, it reminds me of similar to what I hear about the .com bubble exploding. A lot of those builders and founders of websites that didn't work out got exhausted, and TradFi didn't really embrace that industry until a couple of years later. But the builders that did stick through it and had passion and got through it all, they became, you know, the Snapchats of the future, or these type of, you know, companies and stuff. And you guys are perfectly positioned for that, you know, so super excited. Jake, you've been on crypto Twitter probably the longest. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe Adam or Chris has, but I'm curious. Do you feel like KOLs of how they used to do it is a different, it's going to change? Like that's no longer going to be what pushes tokens and markets in our industry?
It'll always be around. I mean, speculation is the oldest phenomenon to human existence. People have been gambling for literally millennia at this point. It's just the form may change. The last, right, Chris and I got into crypto around the same time in 2016, and there were still altcoin chills back then, right? Just as they are today, just the kind of medium. When the NFT boom came, it felt like the KOL, I guess, changed dramatically, right? The previous KOLs from 2013 to 2017 were shilling the future of technologies, right? They're chilling, oh, this is a decentralized Uber. Even people shilling, this is decentralized dentistry with Dentacoin, right? And in the last 4 years, the KOLs shift to shilling social-based tokens, right? Things like meme coins, NFTs, shilling things about community. That was not the time before, and yeah, it's going to change, right? Some of that will probably be automated to AI, shilling tokens, and some people will shill tokens that you'll have, institutional investors or people, right? Like we were making a joke internally the other day about Tom Lee just continually shilling Ethereum, but changing the month, right? He's like, ETH is going to 7K this month. And it's like, next month, oh, ETH is going to 7K next month, right? Like, right? So it just continues to change the medium, right? We're going to have people like the Stripe people are going to start shilling, right? Tempo, right? All the people who go build on Tempo are going to start shilling it. And so, yeah, it'll never change. The medium will. It just depends who sticks around and who has the larger voice. I mean, this last cycle, Ansem was the biggest winner in terms of publicity, right? And because he was the winner, he was able to kind of move the meme coin market at his will. And a lot of people followed that, right? Because when there's money, there's going to be copycats. So whatever that next winning kind of medium is, we think it's going to be like infrastructure, interoperability, intelligence, these type of technologies. But it's really kind of hard to predict. The best thing you could do is really just kind of, as a trader, is really look and see what's catching momentum. Because the next era, we talked about this last week, the next era is coming. We don't know exactly what it is. You could kind of pick maybe one of 5 different areas of it. And, even you can be the KOL, the influencer, right? At the time, you just have to make sure that you position yourself and talk about the right things. And if the market chooses the industry that you're in, then you can be the winner.
100%. And like somebody from Tom Lee's team put out a thing that like ETH is going to 1800 while Tom Lee's talking about it's going to 7,000, which I don't know what's going on there. It's very contradicting there. But I want to talk about MigrateFun for a second. You guys have done now your 3rd cohort, and it's just been absolutely amazing to kind of see. I don't see any type of mistakes or anything, but I'd love to hear from each of you guys like the biggest takeaways from this last cohort, because it was different. This one was different in the sense of you guys had to go through the bonding curve this time. But I would love to start with you, Adam, if you don't mind. Biggest takeaways from this.
Well, first that we could do it. There was significant questions as to whether it was even possible to launch up to a certain market cap in a bonding curve and not be sniped. A lot of nervous moments there for myself and the team, just making sure that it worked, and not impacting or negatively impacting teams and tokens. So that was just a big deal for us. Obviously, Sammy is just amazing Solana dev on our team who was able to get this done. So just that, the technical achievement is something pretty amazing. But of course, now it's just this idea of people being able to move, this ability to actually control your project, not be locked into a liquidity pool. I think we're seeing it. We've come basically full circle since July. When we talked in July, it was like the FUD on the timeline. You guys remember whatever her name was, big time FUD on the timeline. And we had FUD from, major players on the timeline saying migrations aren't the way. And yet here we are. I mean, we've literally done the full loop. It's like from there to everybody everywhere at all times, right? And I think that's been an amazing process to be like the tip of that spear to kind of normalizing migrations on Solana. But I think, the bigger vision now is we're going to normalize migrations across blockchains. And I think this is like a really big unlock. And nobody except maybe the guys here sitting on this call recognize that, okay, what we saw was kind of competition between, launch pads on Solana. And not that these aren't big players. These are, $100 million companies or $1 billion companies. But what happens when chains start competing? for projects, right? It becomes very, very interesting. And it hasn't happened yet, but we're definitely building towards that happening. Just imagine, right? Imagine, let's put it out there. Pump Fun is on Solana right now. What if CZ tomorrow is like, you know what? I really want Pump Fun on Binance. And we're willing to make this happen. How are we going to move Pump over, right? Well, the easiest way is MigrateFun, right? We can make this happen, right? It just gets very interesting. Not to say this has happened or is going to happen, but it certainly could happen. And the battle for chains, for projects could get very vigorous. And I think we're building in that direction.
Yeah, it's interesting. We've been on the right idea. If you remember at the very beginning of the year when we were building Emblem 2.0, it was the same exact idea, just a different medium. It was, hey, NFT marketplaces are going to compete for projects because, or an NFT applications are going to be competing for tokens because your NFT can move from Bitcoin to Solana to ETH, in a click of a button. And so it makes the chains competitive, right? If on Ethereum, OpenSea's fee is 2.5%, but a competitor is now on Monad and the fee is 0.5%, right? Everyone's just going to go bridge their NFTs over there and trade, right? So then it brings the fees down and makes it a better user experience for everyone. With MigrateFun, we're just taking that idea and now it's actually in practice, right? We're seeing this upcoming January migration, we're adding Meteora. So we'll have all 4 of the kind of major places people want to go: Bonk Fun, Pump Fun, Meteora, and Radium. There's obviously other areas, but that kind of captures the majority of the projects. And we've managed to stay neutral. And all of the companies are working with us, right? Few companies try to compete with us and they're now all out of business. And so the companies have realized, the smart ones, that there's no point in trying to build your own migration tool. It's much better and much more profitable to let us deal with the managing of the teams and have this neutral third-party tool that brings the projects to you, so you don't have to go out and incentivize these communities by paying them to basically come over to your community, which is exactly what we said 6 months ago. But now you take this one step forward and think about the conversation that we were just having about these major companies having their on-chain experiences, right? Coinbase has Base, Binance has BNB, Kraken has Ink, right? There's kind of Pudgy Penguins has Abstract, etc. But what if Coinbase, right, manages to attract a top project from Solana over to Coinbase, right? And it, right, let's say it's $100 million project and that lands successfully. You don't think that Binance is then going to go look at this and be like, oh, I didn't even know this is possible. How do I bring, projects over to BNB, right? Or Kraken. They're about to go IPO. They're going to need projects over on Ink, right? To bump that valuation. Oh, Abstract and Pudgy Penguins are going after consumer projects, right? They're going to want that as well. And at the end of the day, it comes down to, do these companies have Emblem Vault? Therefore, the answer is no, which therefore means they're going to have a significant battle in trying to build a competing product at that point in time, right? And so it's likely that if that does become a reality, then they all have to go through MigrateFun, right? And at that point in time, when you have projects and blockchains and major corporations worth tens of billions of dollars competing for projects, right? Then obviously that is a gigantic windfall for MigrateFun, which then becomes a giant funnel to Emblem Vault, which is what it is at the end of the day, right? Once people are familiarized with moving projects across chains and chains are competing, then eventually they're going to start competing for NFT projects, right? And then it just becomes this world, which is very, which resembles what it is today. In today's world, I could get on a plane and I could go to any country that I want to and take all of the assets. If I'm a company, I can go and move my company from the US to somewhere in Asia if I wanted to, right? It's not that difficult like it was 20, 30 years ago. And blockchains are going to go through that exact same transformation. And we believe that that's what interoperability is. It's the ability to move a project, a token, right? An application, whatever you want, in this interoperable way. And Emblem is doing that through NFTs and through projects where the main leaders in the category are doing it for fungible tokens, right? Move your value from one chain to another. We're talking about taking your entire projects and obviously with NFTs. And so these two categories of interoperability, we're the leader in, and we're currently the only ones exploring. And we believe that the cumulative value of these two kind of ideas can be much larger than the cumulative value of just fungible bridges. Or we create our own fungible token bridge, and then we have all three major categories within the interoperability sector. And so we just know that that's coming. I think that's next year is what's going to be the main character per se, just as like meme coins and such were. Interoperability is a gigantic category. Just think about the largest company to ever exist in the world is the Dutch East India Company, right? And that is literally an interoperability company, moving assets between countries, right? Import, export. That's what interoperability is, import, export.
Yeah. And, with that, going back to kind of the MigrateFun and cross-chain migrations as well, because I know it all ties in. It's so crazy how all your products are just goes back to your fundamental thought process from Emblem Vault, which is interoperability, right? But that changes the whole incentive mechanism, in my opinion. Like the example Adam gave, if Binance wanted Pump, how do they get them there? You know what I mean? And Migrate gets to be at the forefront of all of this. And the hardest part, I think, with the new product is the proof of concept phase. And you guys are getting flooded all the entire time through that. You had competitors that, mind you, backed by millions and millions of VC dollars that could have easily thrown money and developed products. They burnt out. So you guys got through that proof of concept. What was that like? Was that like once you got there, because you guys are pretty much by yourself right now with this new meta, how did that feel? Did it feel like we've accomplished, or now things are just getting started?
Oh, it's not over yet. I mean, the friction point, Adam, Chris, and myself, we spend literally 16 hours a day just on the MigrateFun stuff. Like I'm ready for it to be a public product where I don't have to sit and manage this 24/7. But that's the moat. I mean, us communicating with exchanges, that's still not over with. We still do not have all the exchanges completely on board with the idea. Some of them dismiss it, but each migration group, we get a few more who just understand the vision and completely see what's going on. This last group, Bybit has been a much more active participant. Same with OKX, right? Last time it was Mexi and CoinX who were kind of like the first exchanges to really get on board. We've talked with Binance and all these other ones, but each time when you quote unquote cause on-chain chaos and it affects their users, they're forced to interact with you. And so, the first few times they ignore it, but once it happens 5, 6, 7 times, they then start dedicating resources to our group chat to say, oh, okay, this is something that's not going away. And you just keep throwing stuff. Hey, there's more migrations here. There's more. You can't, you literally cannot ignore it at this point in time. And so we've gotten kind of a front view to what are the quote unquote good exchanges and which ones are not. So it'll help us, with Hustle and some of these other ideas that we have for 2026. But that is a major moat. I mean, I completely understand, why Leo kind of gave up on the decentralized exchange dog thing. Like that is just, there's so many layers of red tape and friction and predatory nature of some of these companies that it feels like you can never actually overcome it. The difference though is that we're actually impacting their users, so we don't actually have to sit and say, list this token and such like that. So it's not completely over, but once we do get there, a few more major probably migration groups, and then we have to build some specific tooling for these exchanges and for these protocols, right? Because there's always some new edge case that pops up. When we did the Pay AI group, this is still an issue as well, right? We need to get Jupiter on board because there's limit orders that people always get their stuff in limit orders. Last time, a lot of Meteora LPers were impacted. So Meteora is now placing labels on all of the teams that are migrating, right? So there is still significant road to go, but this just further cements MigrateFun as the migration platform and just makes it significantly more difficult. I mean, competitors will probably pop up. No doubt in my mind, whenever there's $100 million token migration and that chart goes to 0 and it's all over the timeline and people are saying that this project rugged or whatever it is, that's probably when you'll see another competitor, because somebody's going to be like, oh crap, these guys just made a ton of money off this one project. I want to try to get into it. And then they're going to start trying to build it, and they're going to be like, oh crap, this is significantly more difficult than I thought it was. Because it does take a lot of crypto's completely on chain, but we probably spend more human hours on tech support and conversations and such than actual development of the product.
Yeah, it's like we have, I don't know which one of our clients or which one of the projects was like, why can't you just organize all of the whatever dexes or whatever to update your, update the coins automatically? And it's like, bro, none of the, because whatever CoinGecko, you got to like send an email, go through the support staff, and it's like, why isn't this stuff automated, bro? Because it's just not, it's just not. And so like the idea that this is like making it as one button easy as possible has taken us what now 6 months basically to get it to where it is, which is, I mean, bro, infinitely better than what we had in July. But still feels like, we got to do a couple more of these cohorts to get it where it's going to be a public facing product, and people can just come and just migrate their project on their own. And still, even then, I think there's definitely going to be projects where it's like, hand holding is going to be required. Certainly when it comes to these exchanges and stuff, it gets a little rough. Rough in that just time. This is really just customer support. Jake and I, for the last whatever months, just literally 24/7, same questions, different questions, million edge cases, just figuring all that out, I think is actually really good for us, because it's allowed us to create this kind of like much, much better product than what we had. And just creating a really vibrant, like it's going to be really hard for somebody to come and just take this away from us. So that's awesome.
Yeah. And, like kind of, you reach it. Your back is always against the wall as a startup, but at some point you kind of reach escape velocity where you're a little bit safer. And, we're about to have 40 migrations under our belt. If a competitor pops up, they have no migrations under their belt by default. And so there's so many intricacies that can happen within the period of migration and post-migration. It's just kind of like, why would you trust a new team at that point when this team already has 40, 50, 60 migrations under their belt? So it really just becomes a factor of how much experience you have at that point.
Yeah, I mean,
especially,
go ahead.
I was saying, just especially with the the bonding curve, right? Like that's something that, I mean, no one really can figure out the anti-sniping, but I'll let you finish, Yago.
No, I was just gonna say that that I completely forgot what I was gonna say. But I want to read the super chat from Ryan Boylan. It says, hope everyone had a wonderful Xmas. Appreciate you all. Thank you, sir. And thank you for that super chat. And he's like one of the best community members. He just put in like 10 comments above that. And then of course you got Stan, and he says, Agent Hustle. Stan is probably the biggest Agent Hustle fan that we have in our community. He says, when Hustle NFT? I thought we already had those. No, not official collection, right?
No, there's no Hustle NFTs yet. We have some interesting ideas for 2026, whether it's, tokenomics in the platform, the Hustle token, Emblem, all these, there's lots of different avenues that can be explored. The market will ultimately determine the direction that it is, but we're a product first company, and we've been saying this. I've been saying this literally ever since I joined the company 3 years ago. But the product's starting to get really polished now to where we can actually start implementing a lot of the ideas that we had. It's taken us 3 years since I've joined the company. It's taken Shannon almost 10 years since he started the company to get to where it is. And we have some ideas, right? ICOs are very popular, or different types of, I guess you'd say on a broader scale, tokenized crowdfunding is going to be really popular in 2026, whether that's like through official things like Coinbase and Echo, or whether it's doing something on chain, right? So that's something to monitor. We did add OpenSea to Agent Hustle for ETH. We're also integrating Emblem Vault itself right now. So you will actually see us, I guess, come a little bit more lean and a little bit more understandable. We have 5 or 6 existing applications right now. Emblem Vision and Emblem Markets will probably shut down after Q1 or in Q1, right? Then you merge Emblem and Hustle. So then it's really just 2 products, right? You have Emblem Vault and Hustle being the IP. And then you have MigrateFun, right? And so from that perspective, it makes it a little bit easier to understand the tokenomics there. Again, we do have some existing ideas, and maybe NFTs are part of that. But yeah, it's going to be pretty exciting. And with MigrateFun, if the attention continues to persist, we're going to end the month with 43 migrations completed. There's another 10 in January. Once the platform becomes public, I think the public launch is targeted for the latter half of Q1, so February, March. If there's a lot of demand for there, where it just becomes consistent revenue generation, right? That opens up a lot of different opportunities there. But we'll see. I'd be interested to see if migrations are more popular as the market continues, or they become less popular because people are just more focused on pumping tokens. But one thing I'd like to note is that I would say the biggest thing that we've learned from MigrateFun is migration of meme coins versus the migration of utility projects. The majority of migration of meme coins are generally not successful on the other side. Like the migration itself is successful, but there's just so many elements of like vampire attacks and CTOs and the community's not getting on board and stuff. I've seen this a lot. A migration of upgrading seems to work well, right? If you're going from like Pump Fun meme coin to Pump Swap, or you're going from Bonk Fun normal to Bonk Fun USD1, those seem to do well. But when you do like a meme coin migration of like Pump to Bonk or Bonk to Pump, there seems to be some social issues there. But the one thing that's interesting is a CTO migration into a utility project. So for example, there's a project called Ace Data Cloud, which is pretty popular to say the least. And that was actually a CTO of a gentleman who took over the coin and migrated it to Pump Swap, and then built like a whole entire vision around it being, like an AI cloud company. Those seem to do actually pretty well, to say the least. And so I think there's an opportunity where if that idea does take off, then a lot of people are going to be like, oh, there's this coin that has $1 million in liquidity that no one cares about anymore. I could totally CTO it and build a project around it. And now I've basically put $500,000 into my treasury, right? Yeah. Just by convincing people to do that. And so starting to see strong signs of that. Yeah. And if the migration, if migrations continue, then that'll be pretty exciting.
I mean, we had, I think it was a couple of, we've had a couple of projects kind of mention the same thing where it's like, wait a minute, I just got back. I'm going to get basically 15% of the supply back of my own token. How is this not the biggest no-brainer ever? Right. And I think to Jake's point, while the meme coins haven't necessarily fared as well, but for teams that are actually like we've had some amazing, like real projects, real teams, real technology builders have done amazingly well. I don't know if you guys have tracked like Radar on the timeline and stuff, doing privacy on Solana. It's amazing, right? And Pay AI is obviously huge as well. Just really proud of those projects that have come through, and it's given them like a second life. It's given them not only the creator rewards, but more for the token supply. It was an awareness event for them, and it just kicked off their second life, and that's been really rewarding for sure.
Yes, there's been a few major winners, each group. Not to say that they're all winners. Obviously, you have to migrate, and you still have to go build the project, right? And so that takes a lot of effort to do. Obviously, managing a meme coin is a little bit different than managing a utility project. It seems like migrations and utility projects seems to hit the community a lot better, because it does seem like the most people who are migrating are generally long-term holders, right? And long-term holders in meme coins it's a much smaller crowd than long-term holders in utility coins. I think Radar was the most significant in terms of its increase. I think it's up like 20x since it completed its migration, which was about 3 months ago, almost 3 months ago to this day. And yeah, we're just going to continue grinding on with these next groups. And the Pump Fun group was kind of interesting because the majority of the teams migrating were first-time builders or second-time builders. So you get some wild questions that
We
you
got to
think
talk about this offline a little bit, but it is incredible, bro.
it's you think like a lot of the stuff is kind of common sense, but it's definitely not. So it's been kind of an eye-opening experience to think of where the market's going, which has just taught me even more of why something like Agent Hustle is so important. Because if it was just as simple as them talking to an LLM, Adam and I probably wouldn't even need to do any customer support, right? And if you can put that all into a simple interface, then it's just made me much more convinced that we're on the right direction. Because the most people who are entering the space are new time builders, and they don't know anything about the past. They don't know anything about the Bitcoin fork wars. They don't know anything about Ethereum not being able to scale on layer 1. All they know is Solana's fast, and that's where all the applications are, and that's where their friends are. And you got to follow the youth at the end of the day and build for them, right? And that's the youth is on. They've chosen Solana, and I don't think that's going to change. They're going to continue to put out applications. Wall Street's increasingly choosing Ethereum because they can build layer 2s, right? These type of institutions need to be able to have some sort of control over the applications, and they want to drive revenue. Can't do that in an app. You can do that much better in an L2. And then, the older generation has chosen Bitcoin just because it's the oldest, it's the longest brand, right? When you become older, you're a little bit more risk averse and you want to just be a little bit more safe. I think there's still room for maybe 1 or 2 kind of major chains to come down the pipeline, right? I think like Sui is trying to compete for gaming, which seems to be doing pretty well. And I'm sure there's probably a few other ones. But at the end of the day, you got to know where your users are. And it's just very clear that the majority of people coming in just do not know anything about crypto or just kind of anything about just building in general.
Anything. They don't know anything about anything.
This is Zoomer generation that you were talking about, Jake.
All right, this is I'm just gonna give you like one inside baseball, and I'm certainly not gonna name the team, but it was like their migration was finalizing, whatever, and they were like, "So wait, where are we migrating to?" Or what? How'd they say it, Jake? Wait,
the migration was about to end. It was like an hour before the migration ended, and they're like, "Are we migrating to Pump?" I was like, "We've been going through this conversation for 2 months. What do you mean?" You set up
hopefully it was a meme project.
No, it was not. No.
That's funny.
No, I'm telling you, man, the level of it's amazing. Like you think they barely know what's happening like at all. They have no idea. Zero. The idea of like blockchains or what this is,
Crazy.
It's a zero.
Well, that's probably the experience of launch pads that have created that experience because launching before you had to use what was the application on Ethereum X something.
That's knowledge, man.
Well, yeah, you had to be able to actually deploy the smart contract manually and all that stuff, right? But I'm curious in 20 years though, Jay, because you are calling out only a couple chains. I could see a future, like I know 20 years is out there, but I can see a future to where like with even these internet companies or like cloud or storage, or there's gonna be new categories in our space too, to where you hear about like chains that aren't super branded or popular, but they're generating millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars in the far future. If you go up to somebody and you're like, that knows only a little bit about basic websites and stuff, you're like, do you know what Oracle does? They don't know. But but in the future, maybe our space could be like, well, there'll be chains that will be super specialized in this, that, and the other. Could you see that? Or do you think it's only dominant?
If you think about it, right, there's, what is it, 200 and how many countries are there? It's like I'm terrible. I don't even know.
198.
198, yeah.
198, is that what it is?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Right. So if you need a blockchain for every single person on the planet, right, then obviously you're getting around 200, but people are going to use multiple blockchains. And then you think about the capacity of the blockchains, right? Like Bitcoin is, you can have, you have, 5 million Bitcoin holders. China has 1.5 billion people, right? Is there going to be 1.5 billion people on Bitcoin? Probably not, right? So you're probably going to have more utilized chains than countries 20 years from now, but they are going to be very specialized, right? You'll have a few general purpose ones, right? Like there is the US and China and some of the major, right? The EU, right? So there's kind of, or you say there's 7 continents, right? So there'll be 7 general purpose chains, but then there's going to be hundreds of specialized ones, and they can still have a large market structure. I mean, what is there? There's like $4 quadrillion of value in the world or something like that. So if that all comes on chain, or even, a fraction of that then there will be a lot of chains moving forward. Tough to predict though. What I think the only thing that's certain to me right now is that Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana are kind of like the three christened public chains. There's probably going to be a few more. The alpha generation is going to choose a chain, right? Because as you know, it's like they used to say this cliche quote when I came into crypto, where it's like every generation rips down the previous generation's Ponzi and builds their own, right? So the alpha generation is going to come choose their own at some point in time. And then there will be maybe a few others for specific use cases.
Bro, when 6-7 chain, man. When 6-7. I mean, at the end of the day, like what we were talking about, us laughing. We're the old dogs, right? We're laughing at, oh, they don't even know what a blockchain is and stuff like that. The reality is that we're the fucking people who built, you know, HTTPS, right? It's like we're the people who were fucking building internet and you know, laughing at the kids who didn't know how email worked. Well, guess what? Nobody needs to know how email works. It just works, right? In the same way, this all has to happen with crypto too. Like nobody has to know how coins are launched or how nobody wants to know that shit, right? It has to be basically this visible layer. In the same way the regular internet, I have no fucking idea how Zoom works or how StreamYard works, right? But here it is. And I use it every single day, right? In the same way, that's what we're doing with crypto. And I think, you know, to tie it back to hustle, that's the whole idea, is that nobody has to know shit about fuck. They can just come on, do what they want, buy what they want, get what they want. They have no idea how it works. We've just kind of hidden the whole thing. And like at the end of the day, that's what we're building, man. And that's who we're building for. So maybe Jake and I, this is like the learning experience we need, where we need these people who literally don't know shit about fuck. And you can still use our product, right? I mean, that's the beauty. That's what we want to make.
Yeah. 100%. Speaking of that, we do have to hop off here because we're going to help the Rainmaker team, you know, close out their migration, big one as well. I think it's like a 500K or $5 million market cap, 500K liquidity. So we're going to go help them just as we do with all of our customer service. But yeah, it's been a crazy year. Never been more bullish on this team. Definitely very skilled. Also happy for you guys. I see that you're crushing it over at Pyro, taking the next adventure into Zoomerland. I saw 7 million tokens burned. I had bought some on the launch day, so still holding. And yeah, the next adventure for you guys as well.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate you guys, man. Awesome to have you guys on, all three at once. And we know you guys are super busy. So happy New Year, happy holidays, and we will talk to you guys soon.
Yep. Dev's also said they're about to push Hustle before, so look for that post.
Let's go.
Look for that post from the
Super
Hustle
app.
account. Yeah, super app. Big thread coming. So once that's ready, everyone will have a good time to test on the weekend and let us know how it goes.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
Happy New Year's, guys. Later.
Take it easy.
Well, I just see the cross-chain swap is here.
Bring it up.
I'm already kind of seeing it right here. You guys can come right here and you kind of see it already. I mean, Hedera, Polygon, Solana, it's all here on the side here. Cross-chain swap. Now that's what I'm talking about. All through Hustle.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna use that for just my cross-chain, like just if I want to, you know, just convert something.
100%. Yeah, man. Marketplace. Ooh, the NFT marketplace is here.
Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, I wonder if they would ever have like a tradition. I wanted to ask him this, but I can ask him offline. But if they would ever have like a traditional style kind of Web 2 style business setup, like, you know, like an office space or anything. But I doubt it because everybody works remote now. But I can see them because I've worked for a couple of companies to where they've been around for 2 years or 4 years. And a lot of the people that you see leading one of the departments were one of the ground level people. That's how I see Adam and Chris and Jake, right? Mm-hmm. So very bullish on Emblem, their team. We've known them for a long time. Amazing people, first and foremost. You know, like never hesitates to hop on a call if we need. What's that? They got Courtyard on there?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, yeah.
It's through what? Magic Eden or something?
I actually think it's through Courtyard.
Wow.
Yeah, it is through Courtyard. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, but we're gonna make it our mission that we make a big difference in this space in 2026. You know, building, and you guys come along with the ride with us, or along for the ride with us, I should say. You know, because we're, you know, 2025 has not been easy, especially for people that cover the space. But you know, building in the space, I think we're starting to realize that that is a necessity as well. Like we're building in the space from a media standpoint, of course, but adding something as a product type of approach, I think is important, because you put more skin in the game too, and you're trying to make the space better, right? But yeah, I don't know where I went with that or why I got into that.
No,
but I
no,
felt,
100%. And you know, this is our OnChain Revolution's last month with Agent Hustle. We've done over a year with these guys. Our contract has come to an end with them. So this is probably this is going to be the last Agent Hustle with these guys. But we're gonna stay good friends with these guys, have them on periodically, just so you guys know. And you know, just because we're not like you know, partnered with them on paper doesn't mean we're not gonna just keep showcasing what they're building and amazing stuff that they have there.
yeah.
But just a show note there. You know, we're down a couple partners left. This year has been a tough year, but shout out to Pyro for potentially hopefully taking some of that space for us. So
Yeah, for sure. But you know, these guys, I remember Jake jumped on our show. I've said this several times on our live streams, but when we were like, I think I might have had like 200 followers on X, maybe not even that many. And like you know, we were DeFi discussions, and he jumped on and just jumped on an interview. So I mean, these are the type of people we need more of. We need more of these type of people. Adam never, yeah. If I ever need anything, I can message Adam, Chris, or Jake. You know what I mean? And probably Shannon too, even though like he's in the background. I haven't really interacted with him, but if he's like them,
I have a few open DMs with him.
yeah. If he's like them, then you know it's just good people.
Yeah, he's
man.
awesome.
Good people in the space. We need more of it.
100%. Well, that's our show, guys. That's our week. Next week's going to be a little different, right? I think we're all going to take off one of the probably New Year's Day, but you know, I can't wait to get to Friday, next Friday, which is the first of the month, and then that weekend, and then really get to Thursday's the first of the month.
Yeah,
right?
Thursday's first. Thursday's the first, but Friday will be that first show because we'll be off on Thursday.
Yeah.
We're gonna do New Year's Eve, of course, like we always do. But yeah, I'm excited too for it. You know, even if it doesn't feel like much different, we know that we're going into like a new quarter, a new focus, and you know, the tax harvesting is something that's real, right? So you know, we can
Not
kind of
happening in TradFi, I'll tell you that.
yeah. I guess.
Like I want to agree with you here, but it's not happening in any of the assets besides crypto right now. No one took any else. No one took any else.
Tax harvesting.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, right? They don't want to sell that shit because then they gotta pay taxes in April. So when everything's at an all-time high, you're not going to see that in their spaces, but you're seeing it here because everyone took an L all year long.
Yeah, true, very true. But I think that's gonna wrap up the show, right?
Yep,
but hey, we're gonna be pushing forward because we say that every day too. You got to push forward if you want to make it, you know, because the time that you quit, you don't want to get up that one time. That'll be the time that you miss the biggest opportunity of your life. And that's going to wrap it up there. We appreciate each and every one of you guys. You guys are amazing. We're very thankful for you guys. Without you guys, we could not do this show. You know, I will repeat that every show because it's true. Without you guys, we wouldn't have a show. And we're very, very thankful for that. And we're thankful for our partners too, like Emblem, like Merlin Chain, Satsman as well, and our past partners too. Man, they were a part of our journey too this entire time. So we're very thankful for them. But you know, without them, we couldn't do the show. So please, if you could check them out, we would greatly appreciate it. Emblem Vault is the interoperability layer of the Bitcoin ecosystem. If you are looking to bridge or jump your Bitcoin ordinals or Bitcoin NFTs like counterparty NFTs, rare Pepes, Nakamoto cards over to Ethereum, you got to use Emblem Vault. Why? Because they've been doing it since 2021 and they've been building in the Bitcoin ecosystem since 2013. So they have all the experience in the world to make sure that this is a smooth process, right? And so they've been tested over and over and over. So use Emblem Vault to do that. And right now you can take a loan out against your Taproot Wizard on the Gandhi application, which is the largest borrowing and lending application on Ethereum. Also, they're going to open this up to other layers and environments. Solana is on that list, and so is Hedera and different ETH layer 2s, right? As well, Base and then BSC. So speaking of Solana and HBAR, they have the best AI product in those ecosystems called agenthustle.ai. They keep adding the hustle. I've always had the vision for Agent Hustle to be this one-stop shop, man. And it is getting there for real. You can ask Hustle, hey, find me some low cap gems, find me some NFTs now, find me this, find me that. Hey, my wife is mad at me. What should I say to make her not be mad at me anymore? I'm sure he has something for that. But that's obviously a joke. But you know, you can use them for conditional trading as well. You know, he has a conditional trading engine built in him. And so you can definitely check it out. There is a free subscription level for you to get a little taste. And then the paid subscription levels give you some extra benefits to give you that edge, right? You get more prompts and tools and all those things. But super excited about the future of Hustle. If you use the Hustle token, which is a single token that powers the entire Emblem ecosystem, you get a 30% discount. So make sure you do that. And then the last product in their product suite is MigrateFun. MigrateFun is in their third cohort, which they have been crushing it with, which is majority migrating to Pump Fund. You know, they've been, I think Jake said 48 migrations to date. They have all the experience. They are the leader in this industry that they created, mind you. So they are the pros at it. You can trust them. Go to migrate.fun. Check it out. If you've launched the token on any of the launch pads and you want to migrate to a new launch pad or manage your own LPs, you've got to use migrate.fun. See if they have an open spot in their next cohort. They get filled up pretty quickly, so you might have to wait another cohort, but you can at least ask. And they guide their clients through the entire process. I mean, it seems like a white glove experience, as you just heard Jake say. They got to jump off and talk, you know, help one of their clients get through their migration. So super awesome experience there. Head over to migrate.fun to ask any questions that you have. Also go to emblem.vision to check out all their products I just broke down for you guys. And then Merlin Chain is uniting Bitcoin's strength through the power of their AI. They have the Wizard version 2.0 that guides you through Merlin Chain's ecosystem, but also can guide you to other ecosystems or at least interact with them. All you got to do is have some Merlin Chain Bitcoin in your Merlin Chain wallet, which is a Bitcoin wallet like Xverse or Unisat, or you can use MetaMask. And you can buy tokens that are from Solana or BSC. The Wizard will swap for those tokens outside the ecosystem and get them in your wallet there. So super exciting stuff with that. But the Wizard also guides you through Merlin Chain's native ecosystem. It can do DeFi swaps for you, and it can also stake on your behalf. Speaking of staking, they have a proof of stake security model. And there's 3 ways you can participate. The first way is staking Bitcoin to earn more Bitcoin. Everybody loves this type of product. They want to earn off their Bitcoin. Well, you got a product on merlinchain.io that can do that for you. You get paid out in Bitcoin. Their last staking vault ended in September, and they got 17% APR for their Bitcoin stakers. They had about 76 Bitcoin staked. And their current staking vault, I believe, has 120 Bitcoin around there, and it ends January 8th. So you can still get in if you'd like and earn a couple days here leading up into that, or you can wait until that next vault opens up. But they're going to shoot for around that same amount, you know, that 15 to 17% APR. The minimum is 8%, maximum 21%. So make sure you take advantage of that. They've been crushing it for their Bitcoin stakers for sure. And then there's 2 ways by staking the Merlin Chain token. And the Merlin Chain token's been on fire itself, right? There's the day-to-day flexible option. You can earn 15% APR, and you can claim those rewards every single day, and you can roll them up into a compound interest strategy. You can sell them. You can keep them in your wallet. Whatever you want to do, that is your prerogative. If you do want to withdraw your Merlin Chain tokens in the flexible, there is a 7-day cooldown period, so just know that. And then the last option is the bonded option, which is a 6-month lockup period. You earn 45% APR, and that's why you earn that high APR, because it is locked up for 6 months, so just know that. But the cool thing about this staking vault is you can claim the rewards daily, though, and you can do whatever you want. That compound interest strategy I was talking about, sell them, whatever you want to do. Right, that is your choice there. But that is the options for the proof of stake security model that you can participate in. Head over to merlinchain.io and follow them on their X account and all their socials so you can be up to date. This team is crushing it. They just got listed on Coinbase perps, and we all know what happens after that. but I'll leave it there. Head over to merlinchain.io to learn more. And then our last partner, which is our newest partner that we onboarded, is Satsman. Is it Satsman Fun? Sorry, Satsman.fun, which is the Bitcoin Layer 1 Runes Launchpad, right? So they had 2 of the Genesis tokens that have migrated completely. They have the 7Z and Lamb Wolf, which is my favorite, right? And then the last one is, I believe, All In Bitcoin. But if they're going to be opening this up in, I think, mid-January to around that time period, right? It's not an official pinpointed date, but around that time period to the public, to where you can launch your own coins. It's going to be amazing. This team utilizes ICP's tech stack and Bitcoin Layer 1. ICP, for many of you guys that probably don't know this, has their own Bitcoin node that scans the blockchain that makes this possible. So they can roll up a lot of these transactions in a single block. So I'm excited for once they're going to open this up to the public. You know, we're going to show you guys how to launch a token, all that great stuff. But for the time being, you can get involved with Landwolf or 7Z there. Genesis tokens that the team launched there. Runes are going to make a comeback. I truly believe that. But it's going to be whenever the market gets better, of course. But they have a lot of backing with Kraken listing those runes and other entities really backing it. And this team is very passionate about Bitcoin Layer 1, assets on Bitcoin Layer 1. So we'll be putting out some videos to educate you guys on why Bitcoin Layer 1 assets are important, because we have experienced when that demand is high, and we know that demand will be high again in the future. We just don't know when, but it will be high, and you want to be ready. So head over to satsman.fun to learn more there, and we appreciate you guys for checking out our partners.
Yeah, and RichSwap is where you guys can trade all the tokens from Satsman. So come over here, look at the TVL now. They're up to 7 Bitcoin in TVL now because of ZZZ. So this is Satsman is benefiting really RichSwap here when it comes to TVL. This is going to grow 10, 20x once that really opens up in mid-January. So that's going to be really cool to see. But almost 300K in TVL for ZZZ. So this is definitely one of the tokens that I'm bullish on for them. So, but yeah, if you guys have a few more minutes and wouldn't mind checking out onchainrevolution.io, some of the best articles dating all the way back to 2023. If you know someone just entering the space, please send them our website. It'll really help them kind of learn about what's going on and kind of grow there. So definitely check out this website. Article about Merlin Chain. You guys can really dig into that and kind of learn what is happening and why it's up almost 10x this year. So that's pretty awesome. On top of that, we got articles about Omnity, the Fed, and QT. So much more amazing stuff there. And if you guys need a VPN, highly recommend everyone get a VPN. Highly recommend everyone get Nord. So Nord right now is offering $299 for 27 months. Lock it in for 2 years. Set it, forget it. Get that 77% off. If you go to Nord alone without going to our link here, you will have to pay the $11.59 a month. Don't do that. That's 3x higher than we have to pay if you click our link here. But lock it in for 2 years, guys. Set it, forget it, and make sure you guys always have it on, because you're able to use Hyperliquid, MEXC, anything that geo-blocked. I got geo-blocked by some stupid thing yesterday. It pissed me off, and I realized my VPN wasn't on, and I popped it on, and no more issues. So that is up to you guys. Highly recommend everyone have their VPN and leave it on. I gotta start doing that as well. But then when the only problem is when you go to your bank or whatever, and you try to go in, they're like, hey, like, no, we don't let you in because your VPN says you're in Italy. So I got to turn it off for a few minutes to use my bank app and then turn it back on. So that's like the only issue. But it shows you again that it works, and it puts you in a different location, and everyone should be looked at in a different location. Do not give away your IP, guys, because that could leave to your address there. And if you guys need a hardware wallet, we highly recommend Ledger. Do not leave, if you have a lot of money, do not leave it in a hot wallet, guys. We saw what happened with Trust Wallet. Get a Ledger, put your Bitcoin, your Ethereum, your Solana, anything that you don't need tomorrow in here. So definitely highly recommend this one. I like the Ledger Nano S. You guys right now get it for $59. I paid a lot more for that, just to let you guys know. Highly recommend the Nano X and the Ledger Nano S. These two are the ones that I have. Highly recommend both of them. And make sure you guys get a hard wallet, and make sure you use our link here. It definitely helps the show. And remember, guys, we are live Monday through Friday, and I was not showing my screen, but we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys, and until tomorrow.
Peace.
OnChain, 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 OnChain. OnChain revolution roll call. Market recap. You're not bullish enough, no. You're not bullish enough, no. Look at the price go. Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear trap. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. OnChain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and marching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction.